Corporate or independent estate agents, what's the best? Today I'm joined by Ollie Henson, who runs his own estate agency in Huntingdon. However, he has worked for corporate estate agency as well. Ollie, independent or corporate estate agent, what's the best? Talk to me.
Great question, Chris. I think it depends on which side of the fence you're looking at. I think I obviously run an independent agent, and I think from a customer point of view, from my own experience, I think independent definitely, from a client experience, is the way forward. But I think the corporate world of agency, I owe a lot to it. And the longer I've stayed in agency, actually, the more I look back at the corporate world and think about the things that it did really well. I worked for Countrywide, can I say that, in the past? And I remember leaving Countrywide, and that was 11 years ago now. And I walked out with a list of all the things that I thought that they did wrong at the particular time and what wasn't going well. It's funny, 11 years now, I look back and I only see the things that they were also doing right at the time, if you know what I mean.
What were they doing right? It's very easy to go negative.
Yeah, I think the things that they were doing right, and when they did it really right, they did it really well. That the structure, about, you know, knowing where you were in your week, what things were you doing at what particular time, the training at the time, the training was constant. It was ongoing. You know, trainers coming in, the work ethic. I mean, it was I always akin. It was a bit like at the time. It was probably a bit like being in the army. I can imagine it was, you know, very regimented, everything that set part. But I think it laid really great foundations for agency. The ability to work with lots of different people. You know, when you work in a large corporation like that, it's the immersifying yourself in different environments. You know, some super busy offices with 30 members of staff in, some with 2 or 3 members of staff, different people that you worked with along the way. It was great for picking up a skill set and for developing and training to be an agent. This customer experience, maybe not so great along the way, and I think that's probably some way because of the environment that was created. It was very much more about, I think, from a staffing member, what was there for me, how many sales can I make this week, you know, what's the how many viewings can I book to that particular day. I don't think it was thought about as much about the client experience, but from actual the training and development of an agent. Fantastic.
And according to my statistics, you have around, depending on which corporate estate agency, about a 10% lower chance of actually getting your home through to exchange and completion with a corporate versus an independent. Why do you think that is?
I think probably based on what we've just said is less. Look, when it's your business and it's your name above the door, or you care passionately about what you're doing, in terms of going that extra mile, you know, for clients, really, I think you appreciate as well when you're, you know, your whole business thrives on the fact that unless that person completes you know, on their home, everything else has been in vain. You know, your salary at the end of the month is dictated by whether those completions take place. I think the structure of how deals are put together, we've talked about it a lot. You know, I think people, and I can certainly say my younger years, we'd celebrate the sale, whereas actually that's what, 40% of the transaction.
I would say people celebrate the listing.
Yeah, I think they do.
You know, getting commission on the listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, a big chunk of the listing, a big chunk of the commission is on the listing. But also there are certain corporates where the neg who did the last price reduction gets the commission. So instead of taking off a big chunk, it's salami sliced.
Yeah, all the way down. And I think, you know, what you realise in, I suppose, more of bespoke, you know, the agency that that I've worked in for the last 10 years, and now the one that I run, at maximum capacity, there was 7 or 8 people within the branch at any given time. I worked in a corporate world where there were 30 members of staff within a branch. One side of the office didn't know what the other side of the office was doing, because it was, there was 12 negotiators running left, right and centre, trying to each get their own part of the pie, or their own sale, or their own price reduction. So I think, as I said, there were lots of great parts from that, from a training and experience point of view, but we often talk about practicing on the public. And I think from my own experience, that was probably something that worked for me in the corporate world. It's not something necessarily that you'd want to be doing when it's your name above the door and it's your own business.
Ollie, thank you for your time today.
Brilliant, thank you.